If you've got investments left behind in some old 401k, 403b, 457 at an ex-employer, you may be wondering what your best options are for what to do with those investments. In this video, I'll go over the pros and cons of your several different options so that you can make an informed decision as to what's in your best interest. The first option is just to cash out the account and close it. Sometimes if you lost your job in your dire circumstances, you may have to go with that option, but it's at a very high price. Let's say, just for example, you had $100,000 in your 401k. By the time they withhold $25,000 in federal taxes, $7,000 in state taxes, and a $10,000 penalty if you're under 59.5, you're ending up with $58,000 on $100,000. Not to mention the lost opportunity cost of what that money could have grown to in the future for you and your family, your heirs, had it been allowed to remain invested and grow and compound, potentially doubling from $100,000 to $200,000, and potentially doubling from $200,000 to $400,000. Or you could have $58,000 now. Okay, so that's option one. Option two is to simply leave it where it is with your ex-employer. This option is worthy of your consideration if you're between the ages of 55 and 59.5 at the time you separate from the ex-employer. You probably know that if you take money out of these kind of accounts before the age of 59.5, normally the IRS will apply a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Under an IRS guideline referred to as the Rule of 55, if you separate from your ex-employer during the calendar year which you turn 55 or older, you are allowed to take distributions from that account without being subjected to the 10% early withdrawal penalty. This only applies to funds in your most recently held 401k or 403b. With option three, you roll from the old employer-sponsored retirement plan into your new employer-sponsored retirement plan. One potential advantage to this option is if you plan to keep working past age 72. You may have heard that with these tax-deferred accounts, once you've hit a certain age, you have to start taking out what's called a required minimum distribution, or RMD. But if you're still working at age 72 and beyond, you may be able to defer taking required minimum distributions from the plan at the company where you're still working. Whereas had you left it in the old employer's plan where you no longer are actively working, or had you rolled it into an IRA, you would be required to start taking RMDs. Of course, the ability to defer required minimum distributions can't be the only deciding factor. You still want to check out the investments and the expenses and all the other variables of the new employer's plan to make sure that rolling from the old plan into the new one is indeed in your best interest. You will want to check with the new plan to make sure that they allow rollovers from old plans into it. Some do, some do not. This leads us finally to option four, which is to roll over from your ex-employer's plan into an IRA. An IRA is a tax-deferred account in your name. Typically, IRA accounts have a much broader range of choices, whereas employer plans have a limited menu. Depending on where you open your IRA or who you're working with, you have a tremendous range of choices in what you invest in within your IRA account. There are a number of advantages to consolidating your old accounts into one IRA in your name. When the time comes that you have to start taking required minimum distributions out of your account, it's a lot easier for you if you've got all these different accounts consolidated into one IRA so you can deal with one required minimum distribution from one institution. All the more so when you factor in that if you miss a required minimum distribution, which is easier to do if they're scattered all over the place, the IRS will slap a nasty 50% penalty on the amount that you were supposed to have taken out for a required minimum distribution but did not. If you've worked with your parents who have gone through this before you, you know if the accounts are all over the place, it's a giant hassle. It's a lot easier for your heirs and beneficiaries to access and manage the investments if it's all in one place. An IRA also offers your beneficiaries the option to receive their inheritance in the form of an inherited IRA, which can have tax advantages compared to just receiving it as one lump sum distribution and paying taxes all at once. Another advantage to rolling from the ex-employer plan into your own IRA is separation between you and the ex-employer. If you've ever experienced you have to go back to the ex-employer or the administrator, if you want to access your money, move your money, take a distribution, whatever, it can be a giant hassle. Whereas if you have in your own IRA, again, it has nothing to do with the employer and they are separated from your financial business. Consolidating all your various retirement accounts into your IRA account should not be confused with putting all your eggs in one basket, because within your IRA dish, your IRA account, you can have any number of different investments and can and should have a beautiful, thoroughly diversified portfolio. I know we've covered a lot of ground in this video and it can be intimidating and overwhelming. I strongly encourage you to consult with your trusted advisor before taking any action. If you don't have a trusted financial advisor, or if you'd just like a second opinion, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you. Be sure to click on the subscribe button and the little bell if you'd like to be notified when we come out with new videos on this and related topics. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.